Hello, everyone. Welcome to People News, your go-to channel for the latest updates on global affairs. We are dedicated to bringing you the most important stories shaping our nation and the world. Today, we'll be diving into several critical issues, ranging from the battle for the Sun Belt states to legal battles involving visa and an unfolding scandal in North Carolina. Stick around to stay informed on these pivotal stories. Without further delay, let's dive right in. The race for the presidency is heating up as former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris lock horns over the Sun Belt states. These key battleground states, which include Arizona, Georgia, and North Carolina, are crucial for both candidates as they work to secure the 270 electoral college votes needed to win the upcoming November election. The latest polling from the New York Times and Siena College shows Trump leading in these states, potentially reversing the results of the 2020 election where President Joe Biden managed to flip Arizona and Georgia. In 2020, Biden's narrow victories in Arizona and Georgia were seen as pivotal moments for the Democratic Party. However, in the upcoming election, Trump appears to be making a comeback, holding slight leads in these states, which are once again up for grabs. Polling data from likely voters suggests the race is incredibly tight, with undecided voters playing a major role in determining the eventual outcome. The stakes are high, and both campaigns are leaving no stone unturned in their efforts to secure victory in these critical battlegrounds. Arizona, Georgia, and North Carolina represent the linchpin in this election. For Trump, flipping these states is essential to his path back to the White House. He has been relentlessly campaigning to win back voters who may have switched sides in the last election. On the other hand, Harris is working hard to maintain the so-called blue wall of Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, while also striving to keep Arizona and Georgia in the Democratic column. In Arizona, Trump's campaign has been gaining significant traction, especially in areas where Biden narrowly won in 2020. Many voters have expressed renewed confidence in Trump on key issues such as the economy and national security. What's interesting is that Trump is also making inroads with traditionally Democratic voting blocs, a phenomenon that could have a significant impact on the outcome. Ticket splitting, where voters choose different candidates for different offices, is also playing to Trump's advantage. This trend has given Trump an edge over Harris, especially in the polls, where he continues to lead by a narrow margin. In Georgia, the stakes are just as high. Biden won the state by a slim margin in 2020, and now it's up for grabs once again. Trump's focus on the economy, which remains a top issue for many voters, has resonated deeply with the electorate. However, Harris is not backing down. She has been working hard to mobilize voters, particularly by focusing on Georgia's controversial abortion restrictions. The political dynamics in Georgia's suburbs, which swung Democratic in 2020, could once again play a pivotal role in determining the outcome of the state. Both campaigns recognize the importance of Georgia, and their strategies reflect a deep understanding of its significance in the broader electoral landscape. North Carolina, a state that has typically leaned Republican in recent presidential elections, is also in play this year. Harris has managed to close the gap in recent polls, making the state one of the most hotly contested battlegrounds. What makes the situation even more complex is the scandal surrounding North Carolina's gubernatorial race. This controversy has raised concerns among Republicans and could impact Trump's chances in the state. The governor's race has drawn considerable attention, and its outcome could have broader implications for the presidential election. With so much at stake, both campaigns are pouring resources into North Carolina, recognizing that it could very well be the tipping point in the race for the White House. As the election draws nearer, the intensity of the battle for the Sun Belt states is only expected to increase. With Trump and Harris each vying for every vote, the margin of victory is likely to be razor-thin. The outcome in Arizona, Georgia, and North Carolina will ultimately decide who secures the 270 electoral college votes needed to win the White House. The stakes couldn't be higher, and the final result is expected to be one of the closest in U.S. history. As the election looms, Senate Democrats are growing increasingly concerned that pollsters may once again be underestimating support for Donald Trump, particularly in key battleground states like Pennsylvania. This concern is fueled by memories of the 2016 election, where Trump's support was largely undercounted in the polls, leading to a surprise victory that stunned political analysts and voters alike. Despite the lessons of 2016, Democrats are now worried that a similar underestimation could occur in the upcoming election. Senator John Fetterman, in a recent interview with The Hill, warned against relying too heavily on polling data. He emphasized the challenges of accurately predicting voter behavior, particularly in battleground states like Pennsylvania. Fetterman's concerns are echoed by other Democrats, who fear that pollsters may not be fully capturing the extent of Trump's support, especially in rural areas and among certain demographic groups that have historically been difficult to poll. Senator Raphael Warnock also weighed in on the issue, urging his fellow Democrats to focus on mobilizing their base rather than getting caught up in current polling trends. Warnock emphasized that the only poll that truly matters is the one on Election Day. This sentiment reflects a growing understanding among Democrats that voter turnout, particularly among key constituencies, will be the deciding factor in the upcoming election. One of the major factors contributing to the uncertainty around polling is the unpredictability of voter turnout, particularly among first-time voters who are leaning toward Trump. Analysts are concerned that these voters, who may not have participated in the last election, could sway the outcome in key battleground states. The challenge for Democrats is to ensure that they secure a large enough margin of support to counter any potential surprises on Election Day. The 2020 election also saw Trump outperforming expectations in several battleground states, further fueling concerns among Democrats. Some lawmakers are skeptical about the reliability of current polling data, particularly given the complexities of measuring public opinion in a highly polarized political environment. They point to the enduring appeal of Trump's economic policies, which continue to resonate with many voters, as a potential blind spot in the polling. Overall, Democratic senators are cautious about underestimating Trump's appeal, especially in states like Pennsylvania, where the race remains extremely close. They are working diligently to mobilize their base and ensure a strong showing in key states. The lessons of 2016 are still fresh in their minds, and they are determined not to be caught off guard this time around. The political landscape in North Carolina has been thrown into chaos following the scandal surrounding Republican gubernatorial candidate Mark Robinson. Robinson, a black Republican, has come under fire for a series of alleged pro-slavery and racist comments, which have sparked outrage across the state. The controversy has led to the resignation of Robinson's campaign staff, who quit en masse following reports of his past remarks, including comments made on an online pornography forum and an admission that he paid for his now-wife's abortion. Robinson's ties to former President Donald Trump, who narrowly won North Carolina in 2020, are adding another layer of complexity to an already tumultuous race. Robinson, a polarizing figure who represents the more extreme wing of the Republican Party, has become a symbol of the challenges facing the GOP as it navigates the broader political landscape. His controversial candidacy has raised concerns among Republicans, particularly those who worry about the impact his campaign could have on Trump's chances in the state. Despite the scandal and mounting criticism from within his own party, Robinson has remained defiant. He has refused to back down, even as top Republicans like Senator Tom Tillis and Georgia Governor Brian Kemp distanced themselves from him. The latest revelations about Robinson's past, including his self-proclaimed racist and pro-slavery statements, have further complicated his campaign. Yet, Robinson continues to press forward, insisting that he is fighting for the common man, and that the media's attacks are simply part of a larger effort to silence him. The fallout from the scandal is not just affecting Robinson's campaign. Other GOP candidates in North Carolina are also feeling the heat, as Democrats seize the opportunity to link Robinson with Trump in their campaign ads. Trump, who has made several high-profile visits to the state, is facing increasing pressure to distance himself from Robinson. However, Trump's refusal to do so has led to further divisions within the Republican Party. Robinson's political career has been anything but conventional. He first gained national attention in 2018 when a video of him passionately defending his right to buy an AR-15 style rifle went viral. This speech, delivered at a Greensboro City Council meeting, catapulted him into the political spotlight. Since then, Robinson has positioned himself as a staunch defender of conservative values, often aligning himself with the MAGA movement. However, his controversial past and the recent scandals surrounding his campaign have put his political future in jeopardy. Despite the growing chorus of critics, Robinson's supporters remain fiercely loyal. Many see him as a defiant figure who is unafraid to challenge the establishment. In this way, Robinson's candidacy has drawn parallels to Trump's own political journey, with both men facing intense scrutiny from the media and political elites. Robinson's base of support, much like Trump's, remains deeply committed to his message, even in the face of overwhelming criticism. As the scandal continues to unfold, the future of North Carolina's political landscape remains uncertain. The state, which has long been considered a key battleground in national elections, is now at the center of a political storm. Robinson's candidacy, along with the broader turmoil within the Republican Party, has injected a level of uncertainty into the upcoming presidential race. For Trump, who is relying on North Carolina to help secure his path to the White House, the stakes couldn't be higher. In a shocking development, Ryan Routh, 58, has been indicted by a federal grand jury on charges of attempting to assassinate former President Donald Trump. The indictment follows Routh's arrest near Trump's golf course in West Palm Beach, Florida, where he was found waiting with a loaded rifle. According to reports, Routh had been lurking near the golf course for 12 hours before being noticed by a Secret Service officer. After being spotted, Routh allegedly fled, leaving behind the rifle and other incriminating evidence. Routh now faces a total of 5 charges, including assault on a federal officer and possession of a firearm in furtherance of a violent crime. If convicted, he could face life in prison. Attorney General Merrick Garland condemned the attempted assassination, stating that violence against public officials poses a direct threat to the nation's values. The case is being handled by U.S. District Judge Aileen Cannon, who previously presided over Trump's classified documents case. This incident marks the second recent attempt on Trump's life, following an earlier incident at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, where a gunman opened fire on Trump before being killed by a Secret Service sniper. As the legal process unfolds, Routh is scheduled to be arraigned on Monday, where he will face the full weight of the charges against him. The U.S. Justice Department has filed a lawsuit against Visa, accusing the payments giant of maintaining an illegal monopoly over debit payments. According to the DOJ, Visa has used exclusionary agreements to stifle competition, leading to billions of dollars in excess fees for American consumers and merchants. This, the DOJ claims, has had a far-reaching impact, driving up the cost of almost everything. Visa, the largest payments network in the world, has dismissed the lawsuit as baseless. The company points to the wide range of competitors in the debit space, arguing that the market remains highly competitive. However, regulators and retailers have long raised concerns about Visa's dominant position, particularly its ability to impose punitive rates on merchants who try to route debit transactions through competitors. The DOJ's lawsuit is part of a broader effort by the Biden administration to crack down on monopolistic practices in various industries. This case, in particular, focuses on Visa's agreements with major tech companies like Apple, PayPal, and Square, which have allegedly been structured to prevent them from becoming direct competitors in the payment space. The outcome of this lawsuit could have significant implications for the future of the payments industry. If successful, it could pave the way for increased competition and innovation, potentially lowering costs for consumers and merchants alike. California Governor Gavin Newsom has signed a new law aimed at restricting student cell phone use in schools. The legislation, introduced by Republican Assemblymember Josh Hoover, requires school districts to develop policies by the 2026 to 27 school year that limit phone use during school hours. The goal of the law is to address the growing mental health crisis among students, with studies showing that excessive smartphone use contributes to anxiety, depression, and other mental health issues. The law received bipartisan support, with only one dissenting vote in the state legislature. Proponents of the law argue that it will help students focus on their education and social development, rather than being distracted by their phones. The California Teachers Association and the Los Angeles Unified School District are among the groups that have endorsed the law. However, some school districts have expressed concerns about the law, arguing that it infringes on local governing boards' power to regulate phone use. The law does leave room for schools to allow phone use during emergencies, such as school shootings, but districts will need to carefully craft policies to balance student safety with the need to limit phone use. As cell phone use continues to rise among young people, this law represents a growing trend across the country to address the impact of smartphones on student well-being. That's all for today's edition of People News. We hope you found these stories informative and insightful. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update from us. Stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll see you next time.